Hello, beautiful moms. My name is Sharice Walker, and I am beyond thrilled to welcome you to the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire one another. I am so excited to share my personal journey with you, as well as the personal journey of others, and to show you that anything is possible if you set your heart and mind to it. We are all Unbreakable Mompreneurs, and we are in this together. Hello. So today we are going to dive into a crucial topic. It's building resilience and maintaining a positive mindset as an entrepreneur or mompreneur. So topic one we're going to talk about is cultivating resilience. So I want you to think about times in your life where you have had it difficult. That you just feel like it's never going to get better. And no matter how hard you keep trudging up the mountain in the snow, 6 feet of snow that is, and your big old clodhopper boots, and you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, I cannot keep doing this. Why is the question? Why are you doing it? And why do you want to? Because we're going to all face challenges and setbacks. And so the strategies for bouncing back from those difficult situations is, it's really, you got to go back to your why. Because we're all going to have the adversity and it's just difficult. So the importance of adaptability in entrepreneurship and parenting is making sure that we really, today's a perfect example. My girls are in a play, right? And the parents are expected to put in 5 hours of volunteer time. And so I got this beautiful little email today saying, you, as of right now, have not put in your 5 hours of time. And I emailed back, well, I was there 2 hours this week, and I'm scheduled for 9 more days in the coming days. And so however, I'm trying to juggle because I have all these appointments and I have these meetings and people want me, I have to do a walkthrough or do different things, and trying to juggle, I'm going to be there, but, I have other things I have to do too. And so I feel bad for those people who really work their 9-to-5 jobs and they can't, so what else do they do? Because they're expected to be there. And so I was thinking about that today because my day I woke up at 2:45 this morning with a massive migraine headache, and I was supposed to be going to an audition for a new show. And so I just thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I'm going to be so tired, but I wasn't. And I was shocked that I wasn't. And as you know, I'm training for my marathon. And so I had to get my marathon training in as well. And so it's how do you juggle the goals that you want, your business that you want, your kids? I got to make dinner, and yes, let's sit down and eat. But, oh, that's right. We just ate all this dinner and I still haven't got my run in. So let's go running, kids. And so actually I was excited because the first time in a month my kids came with me, totally outran me. I've been training for a month and they're half a block down the road. But, that's the adversity. I'm just going to keep going. And so they're sitting there, they're stretching, sitting down, waiting for me to catch up to them. And then they just keep going. It doesn't bother them at all. They're just having fun that they're doing it with their mom. And so that's the part that, having a resilience that it's okay. And my marathon is a perfect example of that because I had a pretty massive surgery in December, and I was on bed rest for 4 weeks. I couldn't do anything. And then another 2 weeks, I really wasn't supposed to do anything. And then it's a 6-month recovery, right? And so I'm not telling my doctor that I'm running, but that's where you have to cultivate resilience and you have to keep going. So maybe the 4 weeks I'm supposed to run this 5K, because then it's another 10K. I'm taking 5 weeks to run the first 5K. And then, so I might be a week behind, but we'll get there when we get there. Right? And so the second thing I want to talk about is fostering positivity amidst demands. So what role does maintaining a positive mindset play in the journey of being a mompreneur? So I have this book from my coach. It's called Stop, Snap, and Switch with Krista Mayshore. I've actually created the HAS method, but the Stop, Snap, and Switch, for me, it's just HAS because it's quick. It's not. And so HAS is halt. Same with hers is stop. And then hers will be like snap. So you get a bracelet, or say that you get like a bracelet. So you're going to snap it, like wake up. So you have to acknowledge. So that's the A. Acknowledge what's going on, how you're feeling, why are you feeling like this, and so forth. And then, so with mine, you're going to switch mindset, right? With Krista, you're going to switch your bracelet and put it on the other hand. And so, like, I'm never going to run this marathon. I can't believe it. It's like, I'm so grateful that my hip is actually being okay so that I can run my 2 miles today. And so that's where you have to have positivity. You have to change your mindset. You have to look for the good in things instead of wanting to be negative about things. It is so easy to be negative, especially in this world. But the more positive you are, the more people are going to want to be around you. I'm sure I used to be that brain sucker, or I shouldn't say brain sucker, that mood sucker, where whenever anyone asked, it was like this negativity, just bleh, right? Because I hadn't talked to a lot of people, or I had to be positive all the time at work in my W-2 job. And so I couldn't be negative at all because I was leading so many different people. And so I'd come home and I have a neighbor ask, how you doing? And I'm like, blah, and then unloading on them. And, that's not fair. So, it's probably a reason why some people stopped talking to me a little more, because they knew that I wasn't going to be the most positive. And so have you ever walked into a room where everyone or somebody you meet is like, hello, how are you? And they're so happy to be around you. And you just bring this energy, or they bring this energy. And so that's where you have to think, are you a sucker or are you an adder, right? And so that's where making sure that you're still looking for the positive. Like somebody reached out to me the other day, and they're like, hey, how are you doing? Long time no talk to you. And I'm like, yeah, how are you? And it's just what he said was so negative and just like totally brings you down. And so that's where I want to encourage you to take a few minutes every single day and focus on what you're grateful for. I've actually been doing this. I've been working with somebody, and I've been doing this for about a week and a half. And even my husband's like, are we good? Because sometimes it's difficult. And so that's where just making sure that you are you're more positive than you are negative. And if you're one of those negative people, my encouragement is 1 time a day. Just start with 1, that you can do what you need to. So that is what I want to talk about with fostering positivity amidst demands, making sure that you're like, you know what, if I don't get to it, it's okay. Just doing the best that you can. And yes, making your little note on your note paper or whatever you need to do what you need to. Because the positive impact on mindset, I cannot stress enough that you are going to, is the more you put out there in the world of positivity and stuff, the more you're going to get back as well. And so you kind of get, I was listening to, we were on a mastermind call earlier this week, and the person talked about how you're going to, like if you start getting momentum and you start being more positive, like things just start coming to you. And it really is true. If you start to go negative or you stop doing those fundamentals that you're supposed to, that's when your business is going to stop. So what can you do today to change somebody's life for the better? And what can you do with yourself to try to be more positive? So that is something that I'd recommend. Number 3 that I wanted to talk about is overcoming self-doubt. Okay, this is a huge issue. I used to be, and actually today, so I was driving to this audition. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm heavier than I've ever been in my life. I'm older than probably some of these other people. Like if only I just could have gone from a diet and we could have met in 3 weeks type thing. And it's like, no, just be who you are. Do what you need to. And that's something that making sure that you stop that negative self-talk, because your brain is going to, and I won't get into all the chemistry and dynamics about it, but your brain is trying to protect you. And so if you want to go do something and you're like, okay, I want to have this many clients by this time, or I need to have this many bookings, or I need to have this, and this, your brain's going to start to go, yeah, but, and what if, have you ever thought about this? And well, have you thought about that? And so if you start to let your brain do that protection mode, you're not ever going to get anywhere. You have to be able to stretch yourself, and your brain doesn't know the difference between, and this is why they talk about visualization. There was a free throw team where like a third of them were broken up and they only went home and they just visualized shooting a free throw. And then you had the other people who they practiced every single day. And then the other ones where they kind of did a combination of it. And they found out that the people that visualized did better than the ones that were practicing every day. So I think I gotta find the story. Don't quote me on all of that accuracy because it's totally late at night off the cuff. But I just want you to kind of think about how you thinking about the positive really can change your business and what you can do. And then personal development. I recommend that every single day you take 10 to 15 minutes to spiritually do something for your soul. Right? Your spirit that needs to uplift you. Whether that mean, like for me, I read my scriptures, but for you, it might be meditating, whatever it is. And then the second thing is read like a self-help book or something, just a couple pages. Even if you just read a paragraph, that's better than not reading anything. And probably you're going to end up reading a chapter and you might read a little more. So just some type of personal development that you can do to start building your confidence and start realizing and start talking to people. Because some people will, like I had the best conversation with someone today and what they said meant so much to me. And they want to partner with me because of my experience and my knowledge. And so for me, sometimes you're like, oh, so-and-so is so much better at this than I am. You got to stop that because you can reach somebody that somebody else can't. Okay. And so you're more relatable than somebody else sometimes. And so a situation, you have a purpose and you need to figure out what that is and you need to go after that. So that's where I really recommend that. And then balancing self-care with business. We've talked about this, but making sure that you have like your self-care, you're taking time for yourself and you're filling your bucket. And then also taking time for your kids. Like my goal is, this is horrible, but at least 20 minutes a day, right? It's usually more than that, but at least 20 minutes of one-on-one time. Like I have 6 kids. It's a little difficult for 20 minutes each person, but you do the best that you can. And then anytime that you have self-doubt, I really do recommend this. This was life-changing for me. Like Krista changed, my whole life was changed because of her stop, snap, and switch. Okay? It's pretty easy. And a hairband, like I don't even know why I have this one of my girls, but a hairband or something like that. She gives us bracelets. Actually, I think I have one. But it's so good and it has really changed my life. And that's where I stopped becoming a victim and I started becoming a victor. Okay, so number 4 is managing stress and avoiding burnout. So what are some of the effective methods that you can do for yourself to avoid burnout? Sometimes when I'm working with several different clients at one time and I'm like being pulled like tomorrow, I'm supposed to be an hour away at one person for photography and I'm supposed to be in like 45 minutes away at a different place all at the same time, right? So it's like, okay, well that's not going to work. How can I fix this? And then I'm taking time with my husband. We're going to go do something tomorrow night. And so that's where you take time for yourself. Set up your goals. And I was thinking about this because I love sugar. I do. But I can't keep eating sugar if I'm running my marathon because it's going to just make me tired and burn me out. And so if I'm like, okay, so let me get through the 5K. And once I do that, I'm going to celebrate that day and I can go have a cheat day, right? And then, for the next month, this is what I'm going to do. And then I can do something. So for me, it's trying to set myself up and set little, like if you have a goal that you want to accomplish, reward yourself and then set another short-term goal. So here's like the big goal at the end, but you're going to have, certain milestones is the word I'm looking for. And so here's your reward, here's your reward, here's your reward, here's your reward. And so that's where hopefully you can avoid that burnout. And you do need a routine. Like for me, I have it blocked out, but it started on a Post-it note. And then now I have it blocked out on my calendar. And I don't do anything without my calendar. I don't remember things anymore. And so you have to make sure that you schedule out. And so we've talked about this as well, putting blocks on and making sure that you schedule the big stuff. And that could be time with your kids. That could be your vacations. That could be other stuff like that. Like take time and make sure that those things are on your calendar. Because if they're not, you're never going to do that. And then number 5, navigating guilt and overwhelm. So I'm writing my book, and in there I talk about how when I went to go get my master's, I had tremendous guilt placed on me by somebody I dearly loved, because I was not being a good mother by working full-time and going to school full-time, and then I was doubling up so that I could get done quickly. So a 24-month program into 15 months, I was taking 2 classes, which each class is about 20 hours a piece. So working full-time, 40 to 60 hours a week, and then my 2 classes, which it always takes me a little longer, so it was probably 50 hours a week. And then I had my 3-year-old twins and my little baby, right? How? Like, it's guilt. And so you have to focus. You have to do what you have to do. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, I can have my baby on my lap while I'm typing and doing other things. I can have my 3-year-olds and we can be talking. But I also had to get that done, because that absolutely changed my life, getting my master's. And so it wasn't guilt, because I was having their best interest at heart. I knew that getting my master's degree, it would take me to another step that would better my kids' lives. And it did. It absolutely did. And so that's where, no matter how much your wonderful family or friends are sitting there telling you how horrible you are as a parent and you're being so selfish and, you need to focus on your kids. Well, look long-term, not short-term, because had I quit, I would have not possibly had a job later. And so that's where, I was able to become the dean and then the director, because I had my master's degree. And so had I not, I probably would have kept teaching. And OPS, by the way, that school shut down. So it was shut down by the federal government and those poor students. And so had I not had my master's degree and moved on to another school before all of that happened, I could have been out of a job. So you have to look long term, and don't let that guilt. Everything is in a season, which I've also talked to you about as well. So a healthy balance, it doesn't always exist. But just making sure that, okay, maybe today it's all work, but tomorrow I'm going to take off. Or maybe I got up at 2:45 this morning. It's 11:40 now, p.m. I have not been to sleep yet. So today's my long day, because tomorrow I'm leaving for a little while to go take care of and be with some people from my church as well as my husband. And so that's just something that we're going to do. And so setting realistic expectations and priorities is something that you really need to figure out. And don't, I was talking with someone, he's like, okay, what are your goals? I'm going to do this and this and this. He's like, sure, stop. Okay, stop. How many have you done this part or this far, this much? Okay, so don't say you're going to do this. Let's just go back to this. Okay. And so I appreciated that, because he is not wanting me to set myself up for failure. And so setting realistic expectations is something that's really important. And then your priorities. I want you to think about this, that for everything that you say yes to, you're saying no to something else. And so if you say yes, I love putting puzzles together, right? So during the Super Bowl, we got this 1,000-piece puzzle out, and I was putting it together, and really, I'm trying to finish my book. So I said yes to putting this puzzle together that meant nothing when I should have been writing my book and finishing it. And so that's where I said yes to this, because it was relaxing, it was enjoyable, I was doing it with my family. But now I'm behind, right? And so how am I going to get back up to where I need to be? And so that's where you just have to make sure that you are setting up your priorities and making sure that you decide what's important. So I hope that those 5 things, so let's just summarize it. Cultivating resilience, that's making sure that you just keep going. Okay. Number 2 is fostering positivity, that you change a negative into a positive. What can I learn from this? My life has been very difficult. I've shared some of it, but it has been really tough over the last 12 years, since I've been married to my husband. And we joke that we brought each other bad juju vibes. But in reality, I think that these things were coming anyway, obviously, and we were there for each other to be able to help each other through it. And so what can I learn? What can I be grateful for? The fact that I had a husband that could help me, whereas I wasn't a single mom anymore, and that you could keep putting positive stuff in, which would be the next thing, is overcoming self-doubt. My husband tells me all the time, why do you hire these coaches? You know what they know. You know what they do. You've already done this. You've done more than them. But it is important to have a coach, because that self-doubt, you have a coach, like basketball teams, football teams, they've been playing for years, but yet they still have a coach, because that coach can see things that they don't always see in themselves, and they can tell them, hey, you got this, you can do this. I was listening, my son's in track, and so we had this mandatory parent meeting last night, and this guy was like, he talked about how it was a relay team, and this girl, she was running a 1:12. Okay, so for her leg, the goal is that you run under 1 minute. And so he was hoping, the goal was that all 4 of the girls could run their leg in less than a minute. Well, there's 4 girls that were on it, but one girl kind of tripped and hurt herself, and then another one, he just didn't feel right about her being on that team that day. So there's 6 people on the team. They choose 4 from those 6 to run, and you never know who. So he felt very inspired to put the 1:12 girl on the team. He's like, why? She runs a 1:12. That's the stupidest thing I could do. But he just felt very inspired to do that. And so he puts her on the team, and guess what? She ran under a minute. And so the whole team, they ended up taking second in state. And so I ran a 1:12. I'm never going to be able to do this. Well, if you have a coach, it's like, no, I believe in you. I know you can do this. I know it's possible. And so that's that self-doubt that you have to overcome. And coaching is important, and that's why. So number 4 is managing stress and avoiding burnout, making sure that you are taking time for yourself. And then number 5 is navigating guilt and overwhelm. So those are the things that we talked about today for maintaining a positive, building resilience and maintaining a positive mindset as a mompreneur. Have a great day.